All right, guys, so let's talk about the final movie of the week, which is the 2011 version of Conan the Barbarian, Jason Momoa edition. Jude, take it away. What is this movie all about?
All right. 2011 Conan the Barbarian, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour 53 minutes. This had a budget of $90 million. Vader, what do you think this brought in?
Oh, I'm terrible at this game today.
And you're playing it alone, too.
I know,
Sorry.
it's kind of annoying. I miss you, Salty. I'm really outnumbered here today. 120 million.
Okay. I'm going to have you guess again, and I'm going to tell you that all three of the movies we're talking about today lost money at the
Okay,
box.
60 million.
Very good. $63 million. You win.
Yay.
Rose McGowan is a scary witch. Ron Perlman is Jason Momoa's dad. Stephen Lang is a less scary villain than he was in the Don't Breathe series. The richest man in Karth is Jason Momoa's pirate friend, and the Orion girl that Kirk was banging in the shitty Star Trek reboot is the pure-blood strand that ties them all together. Rose McGowan's dad wants to use the Orion girl to resurrect his dead wife, but Jason Momoa ain't about to let that happen. He's wanted to kill Witch Daddy ever since that guy killed his dad. Now that he's trying to put his demon wife in Jason Momoa's special lady friend, there's double the reason to kill that guy. Discuss.
All right, so this was an interesting contrast. Like, I remember going to see this in the theater.
Me too.
And the reason I was excited for it was because I knew Jason Momoa from Stargate Atlantis. Mm-hmm. And I was a big Stargate Atlantis fan. And so when I saw that he was the new Conan, I was like, oh, that's cool. Ronan is getting like a lot of attention. And this movie came out before his run on Game of Thrones, which really kind of launched him. Right. So not a lot of people knew who Jason Momoa was. And they were just like, he's not Arnold. And so like this movie kind of had a lot going against it, kind of going into it, even though I think that Momoa was inspired casting for Conan. Vader, why did you choose this version as opposed to the original Arnold version?
Because we've already talked about the other Arnold movie. That's why.
Do you like this, though?
I thought I liked it more than I did after this viewing.
What watch is this for you? Second watch?
No, I've seen this movie 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
I went and watched this movie in the theater when it first came out.
Yeah, so
I tricked the wife into going with me. She was, we're going to go watch what? Conan. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go watch Conan. What's Jason Momoa? Oh, okay. Let's go. And she lasted about 20 minutes. Aww. And she fell asleep. No, this movie's not good. Okay. So the best part about this movie is the first 20 minutes.
Okay.
The parts once Jason Momoa shows up, this movie goes straight to shit.
Really?
It absolutely does. But the Ron Perlman section of the movie is fantastic. It's great. I love it. I want to watch another 90 minutes of that movie. So yeah.
Originally the production tried really hard to get Schwarzenegger to play Conan's father in this movie.
That would have been crazy.
And Schwarzenegger was just like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it would have been a really cool kind of passing of the torch thing, I think, if Schwarzenegger had kind of like been in this as
I
as
really
Conan's
liked
father.
Ron Perlman as his
Ron
dad,
Perlman
though.
was good.
Ron Perlman was not bad. Originally, so like after Schwarzenegger turned it down, they went to Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, no.
And then they went to Mickey Rourke.
Oh.
And then finally they settled on Ron Perlman. So
I can see Mickey Rourke doing that. That would have been kind of cool.
I can see Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. I really like the kid who played young Conan, too. Uh-huh. He was a badass.
Yeah.
He knew how to fling that sword around, man.
Yeah.
That kid's got some skills. He's probably some kind of like national martial arts expert in his age group or something, right? Or,
I don't know. But what's interesting is around this time, so Jason Momoa and Rachel Nichols, who plays like the love interest sorceress girl in this movie.
The Orion girl.
The Orion girl from Star Trek, yeah. So the two of them were up for Guardians of the Galaxy. So Momoa was up for the role of Drax, and Rachel Nichols was up for the role of Gamora. Oh. And they turned down that to do this.
No. That's not good. That's not good.
Well, I think it worked out for Zoe Saldana and Batista, but this was supposed to be the launching of a brand new Conan franchise where it was going to like reinvigorate like the character and the material and stuff like that. And this movie just didn't seem to hit with audiences. Why do you think that was, Vader?
man, I'm kind of tongue tied when it comes to this movie because after watching it last night, you come to realize that Jason Momoa is just being Jason Momoa in this movie. He's not being Conan. There's a lot of really bad one-liners and just things like that. There's just this is like Cole was a TBS movie. This is just another TBS movie, but with a bigger budget. That's kind of how I look at this movie with boobs.
Yeah, there were a lot of boobs.
I don't know, man. It's just this movie did not work for me upon my fourth or fifth viewing here or what it is. It's just I don't care if I ever watch it again at this point, which makes me kind of sad. Mm-hmm. But I can always go back to Arnold. So,
well, the director of this movie, his name's Marcus Nispel. He was a big music video director, and he actually directed another one of your favorites, which is Pathfinder with Carl Urban. It's
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's a Native Americans versus Vikings.
And I know what it's about. I just for some reason never had a chance to
so like he was coming off of Pathfinder when he made this movie, but originally Robert Rodriguez was going to direct this, and then when he left, they went to Brett Ratner, and Brett Ratner I think was set to direct this right up until like a little bit before production started, and for whatever reason. They got rid of him and replaced him with this guy, Marcus Nispel, which I think is probably good because I hate Brett Ratner. I don't think he's a very good director. But the problem I have with this movie is that it's the embodiment of, we call it laction, which is action movies that lack anything else. There are a lot of big set pieces in this movie that have like very elaborate fights to them. But you just don't care. Like it almost gets boring because there's so much action that you're watching at a certain point. And to me, that's the biggest problem with this is I was just bored through most of this movie. Jude, did you like this, or are you kind of in my camp?
So the first time I watched it, I think you made me watch it, and I didn't want to watch it. And then when I watched it, so my expectations were so low that I was like, oh, that was actually really good. This was my second watch, and I can't say that I enjoyed it as much as I did the first time. I really liked all of the witchy stuff. I thought Rose McGowan was great.
Yes, she was.
I liked her witch dad, and I loved the opening, like you said, with like young Jason Momoa. All of that stuff was great. And I feel like it was two different movies. Like it was that first part was one movie, and then once we have like adult Jason Momoa, it becomes a different movie. And that movie, I don't think is a Conan movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know as much about the franchise as you do, but I don't think it's the same character.
Yeah.
And the original Conan movies have such a, like, they are exactly what they are, and their fans want that. Mm-hmm. And to reboot it, I feel like was a very risky move. And you're not gonna make those fans happy with it. And I don't know who you're attracting as far as like a new fan base with this movie.
Well, what's interesting is that the Arnold Schwarzenegger version of Conan was actually based more on the Kull character from Robert E. Howard. This version of Conan, who's like a little bit more like kind of crafty and verbose, is actually closer to how Howard wrote the character in the books. So they tried to make it more in line with the source material, but it does feel kind of odd because you have like Schwarzenegger embodied that character. And so like to do something different from what Schwarzenegger did almost feels inauthentic in a weird way. Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate it, but I agree. I don't think it worked.
Well, one of the interesting things about this is when he was still in negotiations for this part, Momoa decided that he was going to enroll in like a 6-week training program for stunts and martial arts. And that's kind of been like I think that was like the start of his ability to become like an action star. Mm-hmm. And, since this movie, he's gone on to be like one of like the next generation of action stars. Yeah. Like, like we've watched him in C, where he does most of his own stunts and like has some epic battles.
Yeah, he's great in that.
Yeah, Aquaman. Like there's a lot of stuff that
werewolf movie where he actually becomes a werewolf in real life.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like now where it's just like, oh, that's Momoa, but like this was like the start of that. And I think it's kind of interesting to look at this in the sense that like this was like the first kind of like breakout of his career, like post Stargate, basically.
Yeah.
So, this movie I think has like a certain kind of charm to it because of that. But at the same time, I just don't find it very entertaining.
Yeah, and I keep asking myself, like, what if this, what if that, would I have liked it more? And I was like, if this weren't called Conan the Barbarian, would I like it more?
Right.
Maybe. If it was a standalone, I think it might have worked more as a Barbarian movie than a Conan movie.
Also, did you get the sense that like they kind of drop hints in this movie, but they kind of give the idea that the Rose McGowan character, the witch daughter, kind of has a thing for her daddy.
Yeah, weird.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And she keeps trying to like seduce him, and it's not clear
She keeps trying
whether
to suck on his fingers.
it's not clear whether or not he actually like, you know, has sex with his daughter or not, but it's kind of implied. It's weird.
It's a little bit weird,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
There's just, you know, there's parts of this movie. It's like I have the same issue with this movie as I have with the first Superman movie. What was the one with Henry Cavill? The first one?
Oh, Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. It's like I want to watch the Krypton movie for 2 hours. The first 15 minutes of that.
Okay.
Like I want to watch an hour and a half of young Conan in this.
Yeah.
You know, because this was interesting. This is the way they set the character up and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and it was way more fascinating to me than the last hour and 15 minutes of this movie.
I agree.
And, you know, once we get past that stage, it just kind of goes into one action sequence after another, and or a really long, boring, unnecessary chase scene with the horses, or you know, it just, I don't know.
I also feel like the worst part of this movie is the fact that Conan's the least interesting character in it.
Right.
And he's supposed to be the one driving the action forward, and you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah, I liked his little thief friend.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the richest man in Karth guy. I loved Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
And I loved the relationship between young Conan and his dad.
You know, there's things that were just off, and it's like, I'm going to get smited for probably saying this, but even, I can't think of his name now. Most famous voice in the world narrated the movie.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, that was so out of left
weird.
field.
It's like, to me, I wanted Kano, or whatever that dude's name is.
Mako.
I needed him to narrate.
Yeah.
Those were the, you know, from the times when the oceans drink Atlantis.
Or
you know,
at least have a
weird.
character from the movie be the one who narrates. Like it's basically Morgan Freeman is the voice of God.
It sounded like Morgan Freeman was reading the script.
Yes.
Well, he was.
I know,
and they probably
but
spent $30 million of their budget
Right.
to get him to like, and he only does it at the very beginning of the movie, and then he just
No,
disappears.
there's
for the rest
one
of
more thing in the middle of the movie after. I think it's when they switch from old to young, from young to old.
Yeah, I
But-
feel like there's so many things that on their own would work, but when you put them all together, it makes the whole thing not work.
Yeah, it's just they should have had. You know, I could see here Jason Momoa. You know, I can't even. I want to do a Jason Momoa impersonation, but I can't. You know, of him reading the script of that. You know, but you know, from the times when the oceans drink Atlantis, and you know, it doesn't work.
Where's my beer?
Yeah, but they could have had. You know, Ron Perlman could have been the narrator,
100%. Yeah.
or somebody,
Or the guy who played the thief.
yeah.
something to tie it in. You know, it was like
Yeah.
it's like
Or even the girl.
Yeah, the girl would have been a good choice.
Yeah.
in the Arnold movie. You know, it was the wizard. You know, Mako. You know, so it made sense.
Yeah.
I am the teller of his tale.
Yeah.
You know, and that was cool, right? You know, and it tied into the movie, and just have, you know, random. God, I'm terrible with names.
Morgan Freeman.
Random Freeman come in and just, you know. You know, because it was definitely something that they could put him on probably the posters, Morgan Freeman and Conan or whatever. You know, it's just, I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
They probably paid through the nose for
They
those,
probably
like,
did.
3 lines of
Right.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If they hadn't paid that, this would have made its budget back.
for sure. And, you know, Ron Perlman's beard is epic in this thing.
I do love a good beard.
I will say, like, you know, so this movie is basically just a collection of set pieces.
Right.
And the set pieces are all really well done. And they taken in isolation, they're good. But unfortunately, when we're talking about a larger movie, this one just fails to land, I think. And you know, I think the best character in this movie is actually Stephen Lang, the guy who plays the bad guy. What's his
yeah.
name? Zim?
Yeah.
Like Emperor Zim or something like that.
And he kind of takes over the role and encapsulates it, and at least kind of plays along with the character.
Well, Stephen Lang's such a good actor. Like, he always just sucks the oxygen out of every scene that he's in, no matter what movie he's in, because he just dominates the screen. Like, he's such a powerful presence.
He's such a good bad guy.
He's great.
Kolarzim.
Your set pieces comment is spot on.
Yeah.
It's like I was watching this movie last night with Alex on our Discord, and he made the comment. I'll just speak for him because he's not here today, like a loser. But the scene where he's fighting the dirt people, where the dust people, and it seems
sand people.
The sand people. It's straight up a set piece from a backlot studio tour. with stuntmen. It's something you'd see doing that.
It's like the Indiana Jones stunt spectacle at Epcot.
Yeah. And I mean, everything looks good. It's well lit. It's well acted. I just don't know why it doesn't work.
I don't know if it's well acted or not, but that's okay.
All of the Vikings, this battle scene at the beginning.
First 20 minutes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody competing with that egg. Yeah. I loved that. And then like the people that young Jason Momoa fights and like cuts off their heads, like that shit's great.
Yeah.
All of the witchy people are great. The priest people, great. I don't know why it doesn't work.
I don't know. It's like when we were talking about Solomon Kane, I said I wanted to see movies take these barbarian movies more seriously. I feel like they wanted to do that with this movie, and they accomplished that for the first 20 minutes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then this movie took a shit. And it was as soon as Momoa showed up. And I hate to say that because I like Jason Momoa.
Right.
But something happened when they went from young to old.
Yeah. He plays a great barbarian. But
absolutely.
I don't know if anybody but Arnold in the 80s can play Conan.
Yeah. I don't know. I think somebody can. I want to see a good Conan movie. Conan's not Samoan. He's not Hawaiian. Okay,
he's Sumerian.
That's part of the problem.
He's Sumerian.
Is that they miscast the character.
He's Hyborian, actually.
He's Sumerian. But I always had a little bit of a hard time buying into Jason Momoa being Conan. They cast him because he has long hair and muscles.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
Same
that's
thing
the
as
only
Aquaman.
Yeah. He was really miscast as Aquaman.
Well,
too.
yeah. but I don't think anybody minds.
Yeah, you don't care because you like Momoa.
Right.
It's like, I remember when they first cast Aquaman, I'm like, well, Jason Momoa's not blonde. He's not a white dude with blonde hair.
No.
What?
Also, don't care.
Yeah.
The entire time we were watching Aquaman, Jude was just looking at the screen like,
yeah. Right.
There's something about a wet pair of jeans. I don't know why.
Right. That's what got my wife into the theater.
Jude, like, did you have that feeling when you were watching this movie though?
No.
It's like, let me show you a picture of
No.
Conan.
I thought it was enjoyable, but I just don't think. I know.
That's Conan.
I know.
That's not Jason Momoa.
I know. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, it's not even Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger's bigger than this guy. This guy's, I don't know, man. It's okay. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is. This is the Conan we have. It's the one we got. And hopefully it's not the last Conan we ever get.
I would have liked to have seen what they had planned for after this movie.
Yeah.
Because, like they definitely set it up so that, this is like a new version of Conan that we want to make a franchise out of. And the movie didn't perform well enough to have them do that. And now the rights are with Netflix, and they're doing a Conan's original series there. Well, and who knows what
when is this supposed to come
do
out?
with it. No idea. I don't even know like what stage of development it's in quite yet. But because it's a Netflix show, it's either going to be really good or really, really bad.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about final thoughts and give it a rating. Vader, what would you give this movie?
I would give the first 20 minutes of this movie 4 stars.
Yeah.
I would give the last 80 minutes of this movie 2 stars. So I'm going to go 2 3/4 stars.
No half star for boobs?
No half. Well, no. I can't. I just, that's in
He's
the 3/4.
making up new rules.
Yeah. It's
These are 2022 rules.
4 to 2. I can't give it a 3. So 2 3/4. Yep. That's all I'm doing. So.
All right, Jude, what would you rate this, and what are your final thoughts on this
I
movie?
can give it a 3. And I feel the exact same way as you. The beginning, 4 stars. And the rest of it, 2 stars. So I'm going right down the middle, split
Okay.
the difference. This is a 3-star Barbarian movie. I will give it 3 boobs out of 5.
Oddly enough, I like the Deathstalker movies way more than I like this movie.
Yeah.
I do too.
But all 3 of the movies that we watched this week, I feel are 2-star movies. Like I don't get your guys' affection for the beginning of this movie because I think it's just as kind of boring as like the rest of it. But I can't say that this is a 1-star movie by any means because it's not. But it's definitely not a 3-star movie because to me, at least 3-star movies are entertaining. This movie is just very boring. Like it's the embodiment of action film for me. So yeah, solid 2-star. Wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but it does look good. It's a pretty movie, and all the actors in it are acting their asses off and doing a good job with it. But again, it comes down to story. I think that was the problem with all 3 of these movies this week is the story. And at least this movie tried to be more in line with the source material. But again, I just felt like the plot was weird. Like it's a straight up revenge tale at a certain point. So like after the opening scene where we see how Conan's father dies, the grown up Conan the Barbarian, once he finds out that, the people who killed his father are out there, this becomes a revenge tale. And then like at a certain point, it switches from a straight up revenge tale to he's got to rescue the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And there's like a weird love subplot and stuff like that. So again, like it's kind of like a weird amalgamation of like stuff kind of similar to Solomon Kane, where it was trying to be too many things at once, and it just didn't work, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Young Rose McGowan is super creepy, though, and I really dug her.
Oh, like the big forehead on Rose McGowan creeps me the fuck out.
But
Shaved her eyebrows off.
Yeah. Even the little girl that played her in the beginning, she was super creepy, too, and I really liked that.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that Rose McGowan's involved in this because originally Robert Rodriguez was attached, and he was going to go off and do Red Sonja with her as Red Sonja.
It's like I couldn't get over her hairdo.
Yeah.
It's like, why has she got the same hairdo as the clown guy from Babylon 5? It looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really weird. But it would have been interesting to see Robert Rodriguez's take on this type of thing.
Yeah.
And then I think Brett Ratner went off and did Hercules with The Rock as opposed to like something like this.
Oh, that piece of shit.
Yeah. So everyone got their chance to do sword and sorcery, and unfortunately this one just kind of falls short.
So 2 stars for you?
2 stars for me. Yeah. All right. So Vader, this was your birthday week, and you chose all these movies because we have a rule here at the podcast.
That's right.
Where
I need swords.
Where if it's your birthday, you get to choose all the movies for the week. What's your final take on Robert E. Howard week for your birthday?
I wish these movies had been a little better. I'm fine with Solomon Kane. I don't know what your guys' deal is with that movie, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just overall, I just like this genre of movie. I like sword and sorcery, and I like demons and wizards and that kind of stuff in my movies. It's just a genre I really like. Last year was Viking week on my birthday, right?
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna
I think
always.
we did Conan that week, didn't we?
Did we do one of the Conan movies? I don't know, maybe. Or anyway, I don't remember. But yeah, it's just a genre I really like, and probably gonna do more of the same next year. So maybe we'll do like Yor and Kroll, and Yor, those kind of things.
Yeah.
If we don't do them before Zardoz, yeah, no. But yeah. So
Well,
just one of those things.
From all of us at the Salty Nerd Podcast, happy birthday.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
And we all hope that the people out there watching enjoyed our take on these movies, even though Alex, our fearless leader, was not here to.
we really miss him.
I hate it when he's gone.
Me too.
He's our.
I hate it when any of us are missing.
I
I hate doing shows without you two, V.
I'm off when Alex isn't here, or any of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm off. I feels.
You also
funny.
weren't drinking today.
I had a couple shots before we started this show. I think they just kind of numbed me out.
Yeah.
But that's okay.